Welcome to Living Abundantly with Sarah Vie. I am so happy and honored you're here with me. Here at Living Abundantly, we know that when we feel abundant, we attract abundance. It's actually an inside job. That's why we handpick our guests with a unique and powerful story and mission to share. We'll highlight a diverse range of motivational guests, from celebrities, abundant authors, and successful entrepreneurs to award-winning chefs, influencers, and so much more. I am your host, Sarah Vie, and I am an internationally two-time #1 best-selling author with another book launching in 2024 and an expert lifestyle designer. I am absolutely delighted to take this journey with all of you. My first guest is a fan favorite of a mega hit TV show, and I am a personal fan of hers, as I'm sure millions of others. So let's have that little drum roll. Welcome to the show, Susan Noles of the Golden Bachelor and current host of the Bachelor Happy Hour Golden Hour podcast. Woohoo! Welcome, Susan.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, Susan, you have definitely lived an incredibly abundant life, especially when you were featured on the Golden Bachelor's first season. Tell me, how have you been loving life since the Golden Bachelor?
I don't think much has changed about loving and living life because I always have. But I get to do a lot more things. I'm meeting a lot more people. And for me, I touched so many people's lives just being me. I mean, it's amazing how many people open up to me and share that you give me hope. I go, but I didn't get the guy.
Oh, I can imagine. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm in what I call my sparkle era right now at age what I call sexty fun or 61. Do you see this time of your life as your golden years? Tell us more about that.
So I call this the last chapter, but the best chapter of life. I've done my homework. I've raised my kids. This is the golden part. One of the things I noticed, and this isn't a positive thing, and everybody out there listening could probably agree with this. Your patience aren't as good. You don't tolerate things that you used to. I don't have time for negativity in people. I don't surround myself with anybody that is a constant, if you will, a Debbie Downer, that quote that they say. These are our golden years. However, I'm still working, but I love it. I absolutely love it because I'm okay with who I am. It took me a long time to get here. And that show, when I was on Golden Bachelor, I don't take this wrong. I fell in love with me. I know who I am.
I totally agree. Since your time on The Golden Bachelor, you've been quite busy, even starting your own podcast with co-host Kathy Swartz. Tell me about the Bachelor Happy Hour Golden Hour podcast.
We're having such a good time and reaching so many people. And we share about dating or the non-existent, but we share, we talk about the show, we talk about life, and people sending questions. And Kathy and I are fun together. We really are. We're 100% real. We agree to disagree. She overtalks me a lot, I will say that.
Oh my gosh, Susan, you are an absolute true delight. But before you go, I have a question. If you could use one abundant word to describe this time of your life, what is that one word?
Powerful.
Wonderful. Susan, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being on Living Abundantly.
Sarah, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed your energy as much as you enjoyed mine. I look forward to the next time. Mwah.
I am so thrilled to have one of my favorite friends and fellow best-selling author join me here at the show. Not only has she written one of my favorite books, she is a luminary in the self-love industry. Oh my gosh, Rachel, I am so happy to have you here. Rachel Madorsky, welcome, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here. Rachel, as a psychotherapist with over 25 years in the personal development field, your work has impacted thousands of lives by helping people embrace self-love, say yes to their dreams, and experience how good it feels to make dreams come true. So one of your most powerful contributions is your self-love book called How to Love Yourself in Less Than a Week and also for the rest of your life. Absolutely one of my favorite reads. I understand that your mission here is to sell and share 1 million copies and have 1 million people feel more loved. What was your inspiration for the book? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, Sarah, I'm sure many of us have heard the idea of loving ourselves, but so few of us know actually what it means or how to do it or how impactful it can be. And when I ask myself, what is the biggest contribution I make? What could be the most impactful thing I could give others? It's this, that loving yourself is a practice. You can do it. It's easy, it's tangible,
Yes.
and you're allowed to have what you want in this life.
I always say that the beginning to living an abundant life really starts with loving ourselves and being the resource. How does one start building big dreams and powerful goals? Through the lens of self-love.
I think the first thing to remember is that when you choose happiness for yourself, you are always contributing to the benefit of others. I think some people get afraid that if they put attention here and they love themselves, they'll become selfish, when actually the exact opposite is what really happens. And the second thing is the courage to want what you want. Loving ourselves means you're allowed to want what you want and you're allowed to own that without being shy.
Yes, you want what you want. I love that. So I see you really, I know you personally, but I see you as the embodiment of self-love. Can you share some tips for our viewers to help them begin the self-love journey?
Yes, first of all, thank you for seeing me that way. It's been quite a road to get here. And the reason why I say that is because if I can do it, you can do it, you can do it, we can all do it together.
Yes.
And so here's some quick tips. One is make a decision, decide that today's the day, that even if you don't know exactly what self-love is yet, it doesn't matter. We're going to work on loving ourselves more. We're going to decide that being kinder to ourselves is a good idea. Decisions empower us.
Yes.
And the second thing is a concept called being generous with yourself, which might
Yes.
sound silly or strange, but what happens is when we're kinder here,
Mhm.
we have so much more to give to others.
Mm.
But be more generous, like buy the expensive blueberries,
Yes.
like what you look
Yes.
like in the mirror,
Yes.
take a couple extra minutes in the morning, all
Yes.
those kinds of things.
I always say, light the candle.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Rachel, I'm really touched by your message of self love. And it's a subject that I too am so passionate about. And as we wrap here together, I want to ask one of my favorite questions. What is one abundant word that best describes your life right now from the lens of self love?
Love.
Love. Yes.
Love, Sarah.
Yes. It embodies everything that we do, everything we say, how we feel for one another. Oh, this is absolutely so amazing. Thank you so much. But my dear friend, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And we will be back shortly, so don't go away. The holiday season is upon us, and especially at Thanksgiving, there's an expectation that we must always feel grateful and joy. But what if you just don't feel grateful or joyful about your life during those holidays? and just cannot find a solution. Well, I have the solution for you. Couples and family therapist Dr. Deb Castaldo, also known as Dr. Deb, is here to share a few solutions to this dilemma. Thank you for coming to Living Abundantly.
Absolutely.
So, in the past, I remember feeling so guilty around the holidays. I was, kind of in my head, anxious, spread thin, and I felt bad that I wasn't feeling that like holiday sparkle. When someone is feeling low, how can they find a feeling of gratitude when they feel they've lost it?
Well, I think life happens to everybody, and it is very hard to find it in that holiday time when maybe traumatic things are going on in your life.
Yes.
So I think there's a wrong perspective. I think people think that gratitude is something you get by either doing or accomplishing, but it's stuff that's supposed to come into you. And I'd first like to say you have to flip your focus around to what can I give out?
Yes.
What can I pour out? Not so much what I can get,
Right.
but flip that lens. We all have our cameras now where
Right.
you can push that button.
Yes.
Flip it around and see where can I pour love, do good things with
Yes.
whoever I can for as long as I can, wherever I can. So that's
Yes.
step number one.
So I was just going to say, like, I love this whole concept of you flipping your lens. Can you just, can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I know that that is really important in your work.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's the major shift of, do I get gratitude or where do I feel it from? And again, I think we have to put the energy into what's our passion, what's our purpose, and
Yes.
it's really that gives the meaning and gratitude to life. I think when you're
Yes.
doing really good things and pouring love out there,
Yes.
that you start to feel gratitude, like I did a good thing, or
Yes.
I'm doing good things with my life.
Yes.
So again, it's more like get the focus off yourself and
Right.
what you can get. It's not about the new home and the car and the
Yes.
degree and the career. I mean, all those things are wonderful, but that's not really what gives that real deep sense of meaning to people. It's
Right.
when you are putting out there the
Yes.
love.
Yes, I love the flipping your lens. One of my favorite subjects to talk about is sparkle. You talk about
Wonderful.
focusing on sparkle. What is your definition of sparkle, and how does one focus on that idea? And I would say especially around the holidays.
The definition for me of sparkle is all the good stuff of life, all that brings you joy, energy, adventure, sometimes called the erotic. And by erotic, I don't mean sexual, I mean the joy of living, the thrill of living. So people don't pay attention to sparkle. They pay attention to the other side of that, which
Yes.
is the trash of life, the stuff
Right.
that's not so good.
So what I'm hearing is what's on the other side of your lens is the sparkle. Do I hear that?
Yeah, I see the other side of the lens more as like the giving out,
Giving
the
out.
pouring out.
Right.
I would say with the sparkle and what I call the trash of life, it's
Yes.
more like you have a choice of what are you going to focus on.
Right.
Even if it's just a little tiny bit of sparkle. I
Yes.
know when bad things are happening and you're having a crummy, maybe even couple of months,
Yes.
it's really hard to see the sparkle, but the sparkle is always there.
Yes, because I always say find the celebration. There's always a celebration in life. So as we wrap here, Dr. Deb, I love asking this question. What would you say is one abundant word that you use to tap into this feeling of gratitude?
I would say passion for living, and then practicing that, remembering to thank myself for that there's so much to be passionate about and grateful for, even just a little bit. The tiny things. I got out of bed this morning. I'm walking, I'm talking, I have a purpose today. Keep it simple. Remember to focus on what you can be passionate about, and then I think the gratitude will come in.
Yeah, I call it the win streak. But thank you so much for coming in
You're
here and
welcome.
sharing your incredible wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And we will be right back with more amazing guests. So stay where you are. Throughout my life, I've always had the joy of sharing my home with pets. My love for animals runs really deep as they bring us so much abundance and love and joy. But have you ever considered the challenges faced by those who are unhoused and unable to meet their pets' medical needs? Today, we have an incredible guest who not only cares for animals in need, but also ensures that the people who love them feel valued and understood. Our next guest is exactly that. He understands the importance of caring for animals and about the connection with humans. Dr. Kwane Stewart, founder of the Project Street Vet and the winner of the CNN Hero of the Year Award. And he is here with us today. Welcome, welcome to the show.
Hello. Yes. Hi, Sarah. Thank you. That was
Yes,
so nice.
yes, so nice to have you. I am so touched by your story and the impact that you have in the world. Tell our viewers at home more about the incredible Project Street Vet.
Yeah, this is a 501c3 charity that I established about 4 years ago, but the work really started, back in 2012, 2013. And it really, it happened by accident, I would say. This work found me more than I found it. I was on the verge of quitting the veterinary profession, surprisingly. This is midway through my career. I've been a vet for 27 years now.
Right.
And I was working at a shelter at the time with a very high euthanasia rate, and it was just zapping my soul. I
Mm.
stumbled upon this man outside of 7-Eleven, a homeless gentleman with his dog. I noticed his dog had a really serious skin condition. I stepped over, introduced myself, and said, if you're here tomorrow, I'll return with something that should work. It turned out it was just a really bad flea issue. And when dogs have fleas long enough, it really destroys the skin. This dog looked like a burn victim on its hind end. The hair was gone, the skin was red and bumpy. But I knew it was just a matter of giving this dog a simple treatment. I returned, it was a $3 flea treatment. I saw the same man, same dog 12 days later. The
Mm.
dog was transformed. She jumped up, she gave me a kiss, and he, sitting there in the same place, looked up at me with tears in his eyes,
Oh,
and he just said, "Thank you for not ignoring me."
oh,
And I
yes.
made him a quiet pledge. I was going to go out and find more people like him. And that was about 13 years ago, and I haven't stopped.
Wow, amazing. Oh, that's such a touching story. When we step into our purpose in life, we always have an energy of abundance. I would love to know what made you step into and create Project Street Vet. Was it that particular man and his dog?
It was like we all have these moments, I think, throughout life, some more than others, where, for simplistic terms, it's just a light bulb goes off, right? It's an
Yes.
enlightening moment. There's a spark, there's something that it feels like suddenly all the dots connect. And when I saw the gratitude on this man's
Mm.
face and the transformation from, again, a very simple treatment,
Mhm.
5 minutes of my time, I knew there was something there. And yes, it was just funny how I discovered my real purpose in that very tiny moment.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and it can, surprise you, at any moment. So it sounds like you've expanded your incredible outreach across the nation. Can you tell us, a little bit more about the clinics and the multi-city tour?
Yeah, so what was once a one-man band, that was me here in Southern California, walking the streets up and down in my free time. I still had a day job,
Hmm.
uh, but what was once just me is now expanded across the country. And we're in 7 different cities now. We've stretched across the coasts to Atlanta and Orlando, New York City,
Wow.
and it's really the same model. These veterinarians volunteer their time as well,
Yes.
and they go out and they walk the streets and they search out these folks that would otherwise probably never find the care and deliver the care right there on a street corner under a traffic lamp and give it for free.
Mm.
And again, the charity has now gotten to a point where we have enough resources most of the time to fund the treatment. If the pet needs to go into a hospital for additional care, a tumor removal, some sort of surgery, we cover all the costs for
Wow.
that unhoused pet parent. And all this really, I do have to say, is made possible through just many people out there who love what I do and
Mm.
donate It's $10 sometimes, it's 15, it's $20. And then especially our big title sponsor, Fetch Pet Insurance, who had the vision along with me to say, let's get this thing out there.
Wow.
Let's find these people. Let's expand to other cities. And we're just starting. The growth is really just begun.
I would love to ask you my favorite question. What would you say is one abundant word that you can think of that describes how you feel at this moment living a purpose-filled life?
Oh, one word. The word that probably comes to me first is loyalty.
Loyalty.
And that
Oh,
word rings in my head so often for this reason.
yeah.
When I'm in the streets and I am spending time with these people, I have never seen a more loyal, dedicated pet owner, pet parent than these people. And unfortunately, I think they get criticized more times than not for even taking on the responsibility of a pet. But I have my pets, and most of the time I'm gone, and all my dog wants to do is be with dad. I leave, and she is waiting for the garage door to open. She's peeling back the curtains. She just wants to be with dad. And when it comes to the love, the dedication, and the loyalty to this living creature, there is nothing stronger I've observed in my 20 plus years than the relationship between this unhoused person and the pet, because they really are a lifeline to each other.
Amazing. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll be right back, so please don't go away. Welcome back. Liz Tenuto is the world's leading expert in somatic exercise. By addressing trauma, stress, and the nervous system dysregulation, she is changing the narrative around unexplained health conditions. As the CEO and founder of The Workout Witch, it is her life's mission to share somatic exercises while bringing ease to access to everyone. Liz, oh my goodness, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I love this subject as it is all about releasing our inner energy through the power of movement. I'm not sure many people make that connection. I've used somatic exercises to help me shift what I was feeling inside. Will you tell our viewers what exactly is somatic exercise and how can they use it to help release the energy of stress and anxiety?
Yeah, somatic exercises are incredibly relieving for anyone who's lived with long-term stress, has experienced trauma. Soma is the Greek word for body, and somatic exercises are literally super gentle, tiny movements that you can do in bed or on the floor that release pent-up stress and trauma out of your body.
Oh, I love it. And I remember just actually doing it about 2 weeks ago. And I especially know how powerful it can be for survivors of abuse and chronic illnesses. Can you explain a bit about how this can be a powerful recovery tool?
I'm personally a survivor of domestic violence and narcissistic abuse and sexual assault, and somatic exercises are so healing for people who have experienced any form of abuse or any form of trauma because they essentially reestablish the sense of safety that you feel in your body.
Mm,
So after you experience trauma or after you experience abuse, you start to disconnect from your body. You start to feel like the world isn't safe around you
yes.
anymore. And that literally changes your body's chemistry, both hormonally, and it also changes the way your brain thinks, your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex shift. And it also changes your musculature. It causes you to brace your muscles because you're constantly anticipating a threat. You're kind of armoring yourself. And somatic exercises essentially reverse all of that. So they bring your body back to homeostasis, back to a place where you feel grounded and relaxed and present, and you're always on guard.
Yes. Oh, I love that. So, for our viewers at home who may not even have any idea about what somatic exercise is, would you be able to share a bit about how to do it, or perhaps something simple you could show us?
Absolutely. We can do one together. It's very simple. You can do it sitting down. And so it's really great to do if you're in the carpool line or, on the airplane or at your desk before a meeting. Very easy. So we're going to take our hands and cross our wrists, and then you'll place your hands on the tops of your shoulders. Yeah. And let your hands sit there. Perfect. And then let your elbows feel heavy along your chest. And then we're going to start to tap one hand at a time. So you're going to tap right, left with long fingers. Yeah. And we're going to just go in this even rhythm. We're going to alternate sides. So right, left, right. Exactly. This utilizes bilateral stimulation, which brings your nervous system back into the state of rest and digest. It's called parasympathetic activation.
Wow.
Repeat this.
And
Yeah.
just that little bit of movement is actually, moving energy out of our body. Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually bringing our nervous system out of fight flight by
Mm,
doing this.
mm. Wow.
So we'll keep tapping. We want to keep the rhythm even. We're using about a medium pressure. See how relaxed your stomach can be. Can you unclench in the jaw? And then we'll pause there for a moment. And we can just bring the arms back down and take a breath.
Wow. Yeah. And it's so easy. You could do it waiting at a traffic light or whatever, as long as you don't do it while you're driving.
Yes.
So, one last thing before we wrap here, what would you say is one abundant word that describes, how you're living right now with releasing all that stuck energy with somatic exercise?
Freedom.
Mm. Freedom. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Liz. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Well, my beautiful friends, I can't think of a better way to wrap the show. I truly hope you feel inspired to shine your light brightly from within. For even more content and inspiration, follow us on my YouTube channel, Living Abundantly with Sarah Vie. And here's to living your most abundant life.
The proceeding was sponsored by Sarah Vie, LLC.